Hello everyone and welcome back to PilotIQ for another question on air law. So in this question we are dealing with the semicircular rule. This question tests a few concepts that you need to understand in order to select an appropriate flight level for a navigation. So this is a very applicable question to your training, as you'll be needing to do this when you plan your first navigation flights and all subsequent navigation flights. So let's dive into it and I'll walk you through it step by step. So we've been given true track of 344 degrees, a drift. We've been given variation west, and we've been given high ground that we need to clear. So how do we start this question? So we know first of all that the semicircular rule is based off of magnetic track, not heading, but track. So in this question, we've already been given a true track. So what we need to do is get the true track to magnetic. And the way we need to do that is with variation. So we have true and we have magnetic. And now we need to add the variation to get true to magnetic. So we know we have let me write that a little bit better. We have 344 degrees, which is our true track. Then we have 20 degrees west. Now we need to find the magnetic track. So how I always remember this is variation west, magnetic best, meaning that if the variation is west, like it is in this case, the magnetic heading or track is more than the true heading. So therefore, it is 364 degrees. Inversely, if the variation was east, you can remember variation east, magnetic least, meaning you would have to subtract the variation from the true track to get the magnetic track. But in this case, we have a true track now of 364 degrees. Now, 364 degrees is the same. If you minus 360, you get 004 degrees. So now, if you go and look at the semicircular rule, we know that from 360 degrees up until 179 degrees, which is the easterly direction, we need to fly odd flight levels. If we fly in a westerly direction from 180 until 359, we need to fly even flight levels. We know that we need to fly a magnetic track of 004, which we can find round about here. So we need to select an odd flight level. Now you also might be wondering why I did not factor in drift. So drift is only going to affect your heading. And like we said earlier, the semicircular rule is only based off of the track. Because the question has already given us track, we do not need to correct for drift. And that's why we did not apply it in this question. Okay, so we know that we need to use an odd flight level. So looking at the options, we can already eliminate flight level 065 and flight level 085. Now we are left with flight level 070 and flight level 075. So flight level 070 is an IFR flight level. VFR flight levels always ends in a 5, which means they are separated from IFR flight levels. And this question specifically asks about a VFR flight level. So the only option remaining then is flight level 075. Looking at the obstacle, which is at 4,300 feet, if we're flying at flight level 075, we have cleared that by an adequate margin, so the only correct answer can be A, flight level 075.